And we're live. Welcome to the FeedBak podcast, everybody. My name is Back, and as you can tell, we're back in the studio. It's been a while. We've been doing a show on the road at Native and all kinds of places, and I'm really excited about this show. A couple of things real quick. This show is brought to you by Austinite. If you don't take your significant other, your client, your family out on the town, but you don't want to do any of the planning, you go to austinite.com, N-I-G-H-T, and you have your night booked for you. It's like, just like you book a flight or book a hotel room, you book your night out. Comes with dinner and live music. And transportation. If you don't want to take Uber and those things, it's like, look, it's date night. I don't have to do shit. And so you go to austinite.com, you look at the events we got. We got all the events from Antone's, Empire, Cedar Street, Courtyard, and as far as restaurants, we got Peche, Russian House, and Wu Chow. So you pick the live music event, then you pick your restaurant that's within walking distance, and then add transportation if you want. You can upgrade, add cocktails, all kinds of stuff, and you're done. So go to austinite.com, N-I-G-H-T, and use promo code FDBK for 20% off. So, all right, let's get the show started. I'm really excited. We want to be talking about comedy today. We got Scott Butler in the house. How you doing?
Doing great, thanks. And just remember, it's a comedy podcast. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be funny. We're going to talk about comedy.
Leave it to me. That's my job. And then later on, we'll be talking with comedian Mo Amer, who's taping his Netflix special at the Paramount on June 28th. So if you haven't heard of him, you're about to. He's been opening for Chappelle for a long time now. A really funny dude, internationally known, traveled the world, all that good stuff. Been on Colbert. So looking forward to that. And we got Lauren in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So since this is going to be a quote-unquote comedy-themed podcast, which I'm a big comedy nerd, and actually that's how I met you, Scott. We were judging the funniest person in Austin.
Yeah, that's right. That's where the bromance began.
Yeah, we just geeked out, seriously, for an hour.
They had to sweep us out the door after about an hour after the show was over. And we did the judging. It was amazing. I had a blast
great lineup.
Judging. The lineup was good. The judges were great. And I thought the conversation was great. The debate about who should advance, wonderful. And then we just sat there for another hour and talked shop. And that probably should have been the podcast, but who knows what said.
I told you. I said, look, man, we got to geek out over this. And what better way to have a comedian actually come on later?
Yeah, perfect.
How did you? I was going to backtrack a little bit because, first of all, I'm surprised that I'm just meeting you this year because I've been going to the Paramount for years to check out some comedy. Every time there's a show, like Lauren over there always goes, yeah, I knew you'd be here back. Mm-hmm. And I'm always at Cap City. So
yeah, I like to be in the background.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a behind the scenes guy.
Mm. Yeah. I can relate.
I like.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's like that's the best part about the FPIA judging is because they set you up in those back tables. That's where I want to be.
That's why I am when I go on any given night.
Yeah,
I just sit in the back, just chill out.
I like being in the back. And at the Paramount, I mean, I actually don't go to that many Paramount shows. It's my life, and I love setting up those shows and making sure that people go and have the time of their lives.
Uh-huh.
But by the time that show comes and everybody's filing in, that's when I start getting antsy, and I'm like, I gotta go home.
Even the comedy shows?
Sometimes.
Like, who have you seen recently?
I mean, for me, it's Moontower.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So
that's right.
I do eventually manage to get into some Moontower shows. So usually it's the last day or two, and it's late night. Like those first couple of days, I don't get to see anything. I'm running around. I'm working. But by the end, I get into some of those club shows, and I love the lineups, the quick 10-minute sets of all those people. And I don't sit through headliners.
You don't?
No, not when it's in my venue.
Oh, okay. Well, it depends. Have you been to Moontower, Lauren?
I haven't.
Man,
that is a shame.
It is my fuck South by Southwest. I said it. And I've had South by Southwest people on the show. No. I'm talking about, I'd rather go to comedy shows than live music. Honestly, I love live music. I love to see to see people bands perform and all that. But comedy to me is different because one, it's like, I think comedians are like today's philosophers.
I agree.
Like they give you a perspective that you don't necessarily have, and you're trying to relate, and they make you laugh at the same time. At least they try to make you laugh. And the thing about Moontower is like a South by Southwest for comedy. That's how I describe it to people who've never been. It's like there's a bunch of shows going on, and you get a wristband or whatever, and then you just go from show to show, and you get to see a bunch of comedy.
Yeah.
And the way it's booked, I think, is very smart because you got the headliners, then you have all the other comedians. A lot of them are from Austin. There was a lot this year that were from Austin, actually.
Yeah, we always have, what is it, maybe 20
Yeah.
of the 100.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more than that.
No, I think it was more than that.
It might be maybe 30 locals.
But I mean,
I should probably know this.
yeah, you should. You're about to lose your job, Scott.
I mean, I sit there looking at these lineups over and over and over again. But
I mean, and the part that I love the most is that you get to hang with them.
Yeah.
Like if you happen to catch an artist in between shows doing South by Southwest, you're lucky.
Right.
Because they're hustling, trying to get to the next joint,
It's
all that
chaos.
stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So.
But doing Moontower, the happy hour early on, and then the party after all the shows.
Wow.
And comedians are way more approachable than
anybody.
yes.
Yeah.
I do
Comedians are
agree.
the best.
I really think so. Like there's just like some sort of down to earth part of them that appeals to everyone.
Well, they always say that. They always say comedians are like sad clowns. Like they need that validation. They need to be accepted. They need to feel love because maybe they didn't get it growing up or whatever it is. They had problems or family issues or daddy issues or whatever.
Yeah.
And so any kind of human interaction, like, oh yeah, come on.
Yeah, like they feed off of that, and that's what they need.
Yeah. It's a very different path to become a high level comedian as opposed to a musician or an actor. They end up as very different people. I mean, the comedians are, like you said, so approachable, and that's part of why I love Moontower too, is getting to know these people. And I mean, they're amazing. They're all so nice, all of them.
That's
I haven't had
good.
any problems with anybody.
No, there's
No arrogant.
no, they're
No,
not. Look,
there's
folks.
none of that.
someone like
awesome.
and I told you the story when we talked the other night. Mark Maron, who has one of the biggest podcasts in the country, is sitting there and he orders a bowl of jambalaya, and I'm just sitting next to him. I'm not even talking to him. I'm like, I've seen you perform many times. I'm a huge fan. I wasn't like, oh my God, Mark Maron. I don't do that shit.
Yeah.
But he just like turned to me and he goes, hey, you wanna share this jambalaya with me? Yeah,
What do I
sure.
do? Yeah.
Never mind.
Then your fanboy came out at that
Yeah,
moment,
and
and you're
then-
like, nah.
And we talked about podcasting for a good 30 minutes. And at the time, I hadn't started this yet. And he gave me some tips and everything. And I saw him again at the podcast movement, the conference in Dallas. And I was like, hey, what's up, Mark? And he goes, yeah, jambalaya. I'm like, holy shit.
God, that's amazing.
That is so. I love that.
And those are experiences that you get at Moontower. So I know the tickets already went on sale, right?
Yeah,
for next year?
unbelievably, we've already put badges on sale for next year.
I'll wait till January. I usually do.
Yeah, you'll save a few bucks if you do it now, but it doesn't matter.
But
Yeah, I gotta go.
You gotta check it out, Lauren.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
I
So
know.
are you I gotta ask, what kind of, like, growing up, what was your like comedy show? Think about 80s. I don't know how old you guys are.
Do you want me to go first?
No,
Sorry.
go ahead, Lauren.
You go, and maybe I'll think of something.
Go ahead.
Jumped in. I thought of it. My dad was a big George Carlin fan.
Oh my God.
He actually he was living in New Orleans with my mom for like a little bit. He was stationed there, and they went to see Carlin, and it was like, and I'm a big fan, but I'm bad about the details. It was about the 7 words you can't say, or the so many words you can't. What is it?
The 7 words you can't say on TV.
And so they went to see it, and I guess they're all. My mom was just like, she's a very reserved Catholic, so she's like, I can't believe you took me to that. But my dad would watch it all the time. Would watch Carlin all the time, and I saw that, growing up. And
For the record, shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker tits.
that's it.
Motherfucker tits. Motherfucker tits.
Yeah.
Motherfucker tits.
They all blend together.
It was just like that was philosophy. That was what I wanted to hear. Growing up. And
That's one of my biggest regrets.
Life.
Carlin came to the Paramount in early 2000, and I missed him. and he's like one of those. There's so many quotables, and my type of comedy is the comedy that makes you think a little bit.
Yes,
you know, and
me
you're like,
too.
okay, this is actual life that they're describing from their perspective, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't think of it like that. Like Colin will walk out, and his first words would be, you know what people don't talk about enough? You know what I'm about to say?
Yes.
What is it? What is it?
No, actually I don't know the words exactly, but
Pussy farts.
oh,
First joke right out of the gate. That was his first. Oh my god!
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god, I do remember that. Yeah, that's wow. I
so
love it.
good. What about you? What was your show?
Well, I gotta say, when I was a kid, comedy was not a big thing in my household, unless you're talking about the Muppets, which
Really?
was amazing. But we weren't a comedy household. We weren't listening to Carlin albums or any of that. There was a Cosby album that I remember, the whole chocolate cake for breakfast thing. That's what I remember.
Himself, yeah.
So that was amazing. But I don't remember walking around with a bunch of comedy albums.
But did
at
you?
all.
But what about like TV shows, like Seinfeld or
Certainly Seinfeld, yeah. So that's
SNL?
My dad
Seinfeld-
was big into Seinfeld. Yeah.
absolutely, and that was a big moment for sure. Well, for the whole country, but for me
Right.
especially. I was high school at that point, and absolutely, I was obsessed with Seinfeld, and that did start to inform like what my idea of stand up and what comedy was, or still is.
Like I didn't know about Larry David until Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But and then you watch the show and you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And I was never a Seinfeld fan. Like my comedy shows, and I was in France first of all, so we didn't have all of that stuff. When I got here in '98, Mad TV was like my show. I like Mad TV way more than SNL
Oh wow, yeah.
because Mad TV didn't give a shit, and the characters
They
were just
didn't.
hilarious.
It was insane.
Like today, if you're familiar with the Lancome lady,
No, what is that?
that was one of the characters in Mad TV, and she would be like the most obnoxious, like racist and like in your face lady. Like she'll be in the middle of a robbery and she just talk shit to the dude, or one of the best kids. She's is doing Halloween and she opens the door and there's a bunch of kids come in and then they're dressed up as different characters and stuff.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, you're fat. You should lay off on the candy. And she'll just like in your face. And that would never fly today.
No, it wouldn't.
It
There's a
wouldn't.
lot of jokes that wouldn't, you know.
Oh,
In Living
absolutely. It's
Color was
changed.
my took my
there you go.
attention more than Mad TV. I'd like switch back and forth. I feel like they came on around the same time too. I remember like switching
It's like
the
early
channel.
90s.
Yeah, I remember switching the channel back and forth, trying to like see what that was, but Mad TV just didn't
Yeah,
win.
for me it was definitely In Living Color.
Yeah.
When Jim Carrey was there.
Oh
Yes.
my God, yes.
See, we didn't get those. We didn't get In Living Color. I didn't know about it until I came here, and I watched some videos, and I was like, Jim Carrey was the only white guy on the cast. Everybody else was the Wayans.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
and then
it's pretty
J Lo
amazing.
was a dancer.
Yep.
Yeah, and he killed it. You know, he's like the only white guy, and he's just like,
Yeah, I mean,
just
that-
out there.
I mean, I still think about him dancing like Vanilla Ice, and it's the most ridiculous,
Yeah.
hilarious thing ever.
What was the one where he plays? It's like a tranny, like fitness, and he had like pigtails.
Yes.
And he would like pump his chest.
Oh, you mean
Jim Carrey.
well, Jim Carrey? But yeah, but that also
He
reminds
looked
me.
like a tranny. He's like, hello. He would talk like
yeah,
that.
no. Okay,
You know
yeah,
what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do, but I don't know the
can't-
character
Oh, man.
name. We can Google it. We can Google.
I'll Google it. No, but to me, Mad TV was like, you know, the and then there was Tough Crowd.
Right.
Now, Tough Crowd is what introduced with Colin Quinn.
Yep.
That's what really introduced me to stand up.
Stand up.
So Tough Crowd was on a daily basis. I think it was on a daily basis. I think so. But
Never got to
think
see.
about think about all the comedians that are huge today. Bill Burr, Chappelle. Think like Nick DiPaolo, Patrice O'Neill at the time, Jim Norton, Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
Greg Giraldo, rest in peace.
All the New York guys.
All those guys were on that show.
That's babies.
Robert Kelly, all those guys were on there. And what they did was think of it like the Daily Show with a bunch of comedians, and then Colin would bring up a topic, and then the comedians would just crack jokes at it. You know, Colbert was on there too.
Wow.
And it was topical. It was about, current events, and it was funny. And I'm like, who the hell are these guys? And that's how I got into at the time they call it cringe comedy, but I don't think of it that way. People like Doug Stanhope, people like Mitch Hedberg at the time, that like, it's not haha funny, but it's holy shit, I can't believe you said that funny.
Yeah, exactly. Shock value. Yeah.
Right. Like, what's your type of comedy? Or you just all over?
It's it is all over, but I mean, it's what you're saying. Like, you want to be challenged. What's funny is when your assumptions are proven wrong. So if that could be a big topic, if somebody comes out and you're expecting them to go one way, if it's political or whatever, and they flip it in a way that you still appreciate them, and they said the exact opposite of what you expected.
Right.
I mean, that's high. I mean, it could be the best, right? But that also applies to small things, like silly one-liners. As long as you're assuming it's going one way and they can flip it in a way that's unexpected and challenges your beliefs, even if it was a short-term belief, like that's where comedy comes in, and that's where you get the laugh.
Well,
that could be anything.
Are you at a point now where do you watch a lot of Netflix specials and HBO specials by getting Comedy Central at the time? Comedy Central ain't getting shit no more.
No, Netflix.
Even HBO, Showtime every once in a while, but everybody goes to Netflix, which makes sense. But where, like, you become a snob a little bit. I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Because if I hear a joke and before the punchline comes, I can already tell what it's going to be, it's not funny to me anymore. Like,
definitely.
Or you have those comedians that they say the joke, and then the punchline is actually acting out the joke. And I'm like, okay, I already visualize you doing it because you said the joke, and now you're just gonna act it out, like, unless you do something totally crazy.
Yeah.
I see what. Yeah, I definitely.
I'm like, I don't see. I mean, if people love it, to each his own. But I can get really like snobbish about it. I remember, like the first Kevin Hart, for example, to me was hilarious. I'm a grown little man, or whatever it is. The ones after that, they're all like, oh, it's like stories you tell in the morning at work to make your coworkers laugh, and then he acts them out.
I kind of agree. I think Kevin Hart, I didn't like really get into that too much, get into his kind of comedy too much overall.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. The thought process is already like preconceived, so you can see it coming, and
it's so big. I mean, aren't some of his more recent specials? I mean, they're in stadiums, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, he's like the rock star comedian. He's what Eddie Murphy was in the 80s at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between the movies and the tours and all that stuff, I mean, he's that.
Yeah, like that doesn't work for me as well. I mean, he's amazing, and I hope to see him soon. But
he's coming in November. I think he has a tour called What Now or whatever. He's coming in November.
And he's got a bunch of shows in Montreal, so I'm going to try to see him there for laughs. But who knows? But I still prefer the smaller specials. Like, have you seen Judah Friedlander's newest special?
No, I haven't. Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Let's check it out.
Well, it should be sponsored.
Put a plug for that. But it's the most simple special. It was shot with little GoPros that he would just clip onto the backs of chairs, and he would just do his tiny little club sets over a period of months, and it's brilliant. It looks so cheap. It's black and white. I mean, there's no technology involved.
See, I like
and
that
it's
better.
So funny and personal, and he's interacting with crowd, and you don't feel like it's even rehearsed that much. I mean, it hardly is. And
the thing is, when it comes to comedy is like one of the few art forms where you can't practice on your own. Like, you have to be in front of an audience,
right?
And it's not like you play guitar. You can go home, practice for 6 months, come back and play at Jimi Hendrix, right?
Yeah, you need that. You need the real life situation in order to shake you and get the best out of you.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that a lot of comedians that go out and take spots, at the Cellar or at the store or whatever comedy club, like, they're working out their material. It's not, and they're working towards, an hour special, or a monologue for SNL. And so I think that comedy is bigger now than it's ever been, I think.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
This is the golden age.
Yeah,
sure.
between podcast and Netflix and YouTube and I mean, you know, like I said, the comedians are like today's philosophers. If you don't know, nobody knew about Michelle Wolf, and then she does the correspondence dinner, and like, oh my God, I love Michelle Wolf. I'm like, well, okay, good for you.
We had her years ago.
Yes, she was sorry, Cap City. Actually, I was in New York last weekend.
Yeah.
And I pulled off some shit.
Let's hear it.
So
Yeah.
I go to New York. I got to go to the cellar. I have a reservation. Last time I went, I bought my tickets like 2 weeks in advance. This time I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I had 48 hours in New York. And that night at 7 p.m., I leave Harlem and I go to the cellar. And I'm like, maybe there's a standby list. It's a Saturday night in New York City. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I get to the front. There's a long ass line. And I talk to the guy, and the guy goes, no, I'm sorry. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to make it. There's this long line, and we're sold out. I'm like, all right, cool. I go around the corner. Have you been to the cellar?
No.
You got to go, but buy tickets in advance. Anyway, and I go around the corner. The Village Underground is another part of the cellar around the corner, and there's a Fat Cat Pussycat bar next door. So I'm go to the Village Underground, same thing, sold out, can't get in. So I'm standing there, and right next to the Village Underground is the garage. Artie Fuqua pulls up in his convertible. Funny comedian.
Yeah.
You know who he is?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Very funny dude. Pulls up and he's blasting Notorious B.I.G., the 10 Crack Commandments. Just blasting it and just rapping. And then I look at him and I start rapping along with him. We just start the whole song.
Uh-oh.
The whole fucking song.
Yeah.
And we're just rapping. It's the 10 Crack Commandments. What? And start going off. Parks his car. Comes up to me, says what's up, goes up to the door. Comes back out and goes, hey man, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to see some comedy, but no, I don't have a reservation. He goes, I got you. I'm like, shit.
I love that.
He gave me a pass.
That's comedians.
Yes, free pass.
Yeah.
I got in. I sat at a table with three strangers. First time at the cellar, and the lineup was so Artie Fuqua, Kevin Brennan, Michelle Wolf showed up. Joe List.
Love him.
Paul Verzi closed.
Nice.
I'm missing a couple other ones. But I'm like, holy shit, I pulled this off. It was the last show on a Saturday night, no reservation. Shout out to Artie Fuqua, man. This is, I'm going to start a diary just for that.
That's a good story. That's a good story to keep telling, you know.
I mean, it's amazing the lineups that those clubs get every night.
Seriously. And you never know. That's the thing. You never know. Chris Rock could show up and work on some stuff. You know, Louis C.K. could show up and work on some shit. Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, because comedy's so big and people are just now getting into it, they might not know how comedy works, in a sense that people don't say, oh, I'm going to go see this guy or I'm going to go see that guy. Or some people say that. They saw him on Fallon or they saw him on Colbert. But it's like, let's go see a comedy show.
Go see comedy, yeah.
And whoever the fuck's on stage is whoever the fuck's on stage. Now, if they don't know him before and they say something they don't like, then they start heckling and they start bitching. And I'm like, look, dude, if you don't know, like, this is not like you go to a concert. Like, I know the band or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And here, that's what they do. That's their job, is to make you laugh. And yet people still act crazy. And I don't get it.
It drives you nuts, doesn't it? I mean,
does.
It really does for me. And I don't know if it's like the wrong thing to say, because there are, like, I mean, I've watched Chappelle's, you know, Netflix specials, and he's talked about all the heckling that he's got.
Oh, I can talk about that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
we had a thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, with Chappelle, I don't know how long ago it was, like 5 or 6 years ago. It was one of the craziest days of my work life. At midnight.
What show was it?
It was Chappelle.
Where? At
Paramount? At the Paramount.
Oh, okay.
So he calls us, our booker, at midnight. And he's like, I want to do a show there tonight at 8 o'clock. So like in, 20 hours from that point.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody can get away with that except for maybe Chappelle, right?
Yeah.
And so,
I don't do a show, bitch.
so we
I can't do Chappelle.
scrambled, got this show on sale by like 9 or 10 a.m. And of course, it was sold out like an hour later.
Yeah.
But he was mega celebrity, but also he hadn't been touring. This was like sort of.
This is after
Yeah.
his trip to Africa?
This is after Africa. He's back.
He's
and
low-key.
honestly, at that point, he didn't have a lot of material.
No, he
But
didn't.
He didn't. Well, yeah, there wasn't much, and so he came, and like the whole city was like nuts for tickets, but the people that were buying them weren't comedy fans. So this is what we're talking about. They were celebrity fans. They love his show, right? I mean,
Yeah,
everybody
that's
wants
how
to run around Rick James, bitch, and all this shit.
Oh, this got to be
saying all that,
annoying.
but yeah.
It was terrible. So the show happens, and people are losing their minds, and he comes out without a whole lot of material, and would have long pauses in the set where he would just stand there, and the idiot crowd was just like yelling things out, from the show.
Yeah.
And it was the worst. Like for me, I felt this ownership of the building. It's not my building, but like just to be an employee there and be involved, like it like pulled at me, and it was so weird. Like this whole experience of people yelling out, and Dave
He
sort
hated
of no, but he sort of just let it happen.
Really?
It was really strange. Like his interaction, like he would let it happen. He would pause. He would interact with people a little bit, and then that just set off everybody else. It was one of the weirdest shows.
It's like a social experiment almost, rather than a show.
It really was. He was up there, getting through every cigarette that he could.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Wow.
And he was still amazing. And I can't help but think it was a great show, but man, it was rough from like an employee perspective. And it became a thing. Like that show it was in the news, like
That's
not
true.
just locally, but nationwide. It was like Chappelle's back and everybody's talking through his show. And so we became the focus of like this new thought of heckling in the States. It was crazy. So
Yeah, I remember.
thanks, Dave. That was a weird day.
And I don't mind like turning off my phone or like putting my phone in security or like leaving it in the car for him. And I did the same for Chris Rock last
Yeah.
year.
I'm all
I don't mind.
I like that stuff.
I loved it, and I was like, "We're back in the '90s. It's fucking cool. Love it."
Let's not date ourselves now. But I think that whole like put your phone in the pouch and then lock it. They should do that at live music shows.
Yeah. As a venue, I can't speak for the whole Paramount, but we like there is a show doing that soon, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I think generally people like.
Do you have a show to announce exclusives, man?
I would love to tell you, but I can't remember which show it is.
I will do it. I'll find.
Plug time.
Damn it. Is it almost time? Is he?
It's 8:30.
Well,
Okay.
let him know. We're gonna be speaking to Mo Amer in a second. But yeah, and I saw Chappelle. He came last year. He had like a bunch of shows. I saw him twice that year. Last year, and then he came in 2015, the same weekend as Stevie Wonder.
Oh wow!
And holy shit, that was I think that was the one where someone threw a banana at him or threw something at him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I wasn't there that day, but he was taping a special that weekend, and he had Frédéric Yonnet, who plays the harmonica, French dude, and the guy is like, so Chappelle does a show, and then Frédéric comes out at the end. He just started going off on the harmonica, and then after the show, I met him at the W. We start speaking French. And then he goes, yo, there's this party tomorrow with Stevie Wonder's band at Speakeasy, and Chappelle's going to come later. I'm like, I already got tickets to go see Stevie Wonder the next day. And I'm like, I'll see his band perform. Go to Speakeasy, and band plays all night. And then Stevie Wonder shows up in the mezzanine. It just hangs out over there. Chappelle shows up, gets on stage, and basically tells people, like, put your phones down. This is fucking ridiculous. You have Stevie Wonder's band in here. What the hell's wrong with you people?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody puts their phone down. Keep jamming. Oh, there it is. Hello. What up, Mo?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. How are things? You're in New York, right?
Yeah, I am.
Cool. Well, thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course, man. Thank you for having me.
I'm here with Scott Butler from the Paramount.
Hey Mo, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, Scott?
Great.
And Lauren is here.
Hi, Mo.
Hello, Lauren.
Wait, hold on. Why you talk to her like that?
There was a pause.
Hello, Lauren. I didn't get that.
Her name is Lauren.
All right, point made. Point taken.
Scott would be like, hello, Scott.
What about me? What do I get?
Not as fun.
Yo, what's up, Beck? Yeah.
You get, yo, what's up, man? What's happening?
I will take that over. Hey, Beck. No. All right, just playing. Just playing.
You, Chief.
I'm really glad get to talk to you. We talked yesterday, and I told you I saw you open for Chappelle actually twice when he came. Was it last year?
Uh-huh.
And funny show, man. Love it. And I'm really glad that I get to talk to you today. But I want to jump right in because we have you have a show tonight, right?
Yeah, I have 3 tonight.
Oh wow! All right, I don't want to. Let's just dive right in then. So I was reading.
Yeah, you're good.
I was reading up a little bit and listening to other interviews you did. So, born in Kuwait, and then left during because of the Gulf War, and then came to Texas.
Part 1. Yep.
What? Gulf War Part 1.
Part 1.
Well,
Part 1, yeah.
how old were you when you came to
I was
Texas? 9?
Yeah, I was 9 years old. Yeah.
So how did come into Texas of all places is like culture shock where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the land of Dukes of Hazzard and Cowboys and all that.
Kuwait Junior.
For real?
No.
Oh. Look, man, I left France and moved to Texas, so I can relate. I mean, there was no war in France, but as far as like coming straight to Texas from abroad, it's like a big
Those are
culture
all
shock.
3 wildly different places.
Yes. Yes. So what was that like?
I mean, it was so much fun learning about crime. It's wonderful. I had no idea. I had no idea what crime was, and
Welcome to
Houston
Houston.
showed me everything. No, it was really obviously it was a very traumatic experience leaving Kuwait to coming to Houston, and it was really, really different, obviously. But we're always, my brothers were going to college in America, and we watch American television, so it was just kind of like. It was like prep work has been done, and you just get in and you have to acclimate. I mean, it's so much. I went to a private British English school in Kuwait, and learning multiple languages, and the curriculum is really next level.
Right.
When you come to Houston, and unfortunately, the curriculum is not like that, and the environment's not like that, the school's not like that, the arrangement's not like that. And man, you gotta learn how to fight. You gotta learn how to this is not normal. This is not normal for me.
How long did it take you to say y'all? How long did it take you to say y'all?
About 3 days.
Man, it took me 5 years.
You got to learn how to fit in quick.
I don't even know. I don't know. It just happened. I can't remember.
Man. So, first stand-up show that you go to is Bill Cosby, right?
It was at the rodeo. My brother was trying to get my mind off things. I've been in Houston for about a year at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and it was double billed with the band Alabama and Bill Cosby.
Like that pause right there.
Like, what a wonderful conversation. Yeah. And Bill Cosby. It was crazy. Like, I didn't know what stand-up was, and surely I didn't know who the band Alabama was. And, just really watching some rodeo, too, watching these crazy guys get on these bulls and just hold on as long as they can, and these clowns just, like, pop up. And it was just one of those experiences. And then Bill Cosby comes on stage, on this rotating stage, and in front of 70,000 people, all he has is a lapel mic and a chair. And he's telling these unbelievable stories. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's hilarious. What is this? And my brother's like, that's stand-up comedy. I was like, that's what I'm going to do with my life.
So you knew who Cosby was at the time?
No, I didn't know. That was the first time I was introduced to Cosby. Well, no, I've seen the sitcom at that point, That was like in his think of the tail end of the run. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I knew who he was, but I didn't know he did. I knew he was an actor in a series.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
if I even barely knew him, like there was a lot of stuff that we were all going through as a family at that time. So it was, it was just like I would be a comedian, and my brother's like, whatever, you crazy ass. You know, I'm like, no, man, you don't know. So it was, that's how I decided to be a comedian.
Like, I don't care what anybody says, himself is still funny. That special, that Cosby special, talks about childbirth and all that. That still cracks me up. We watched that shit in health class. Don't ask why.
Yeah, I mean, like we watched it in English class. We watched.
There you go.
It was amazing. Like,
hell yeah, learn English. Listen to Cosby.
I mean, that was like the go-to. I mean,
right?
It was super clean. It was hilarious. Yeah, everybody watched it, and I don't know why you had to premise like I don't care what anybody says. It was funny. I don't know who disputes that Cosby was not a great artist. I think what we dispute is the rapes. Fucking gross. So that was like it was really sad. But I mean, like you can't take that away from him.
No, you can't. You can't just
contributed. What he contributed to the entertainment industry, what he contributed to, black culture and culture in general. So it's just like.
I don't like when you take that shit away from people. Like, oh, you don't exist anymore. Everything you did just because you fucked up in life. Anyway, so
No, that's different. I like, it's still like a contribution, and you still rape. Like that's
yeah, it is. It is,
like,
but I mean,
that's really dope, and this is gross. I'm sad that happened. I'm sad you came up in an era where everybody rapes.
How you doing? I was raping yesterday, man.
It's like,
like everybody raped in that era. It was crazy. That's all they did. They didn't know anything else but raping each other.
That was Saturday night. And then
it really was.
So you cut the bug right then and there, and then like when did you decide? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
Right that moment.
Well, I mean, sorry, dumb question on my part. My bad. Like going to school because
it's not the first time I started. First time I did comedy.
Yeah,
was
like
in ninth grade.
Oh shit!
I was in ninth grade in my English class. I was just skipping a lot, man. I just didn't care, and my father had died at that moment. He passed away like 4 years later, and I was just like, that was it for me, I was like, fuck life and thug life at the same time. I just didn't care, I was really, really mad at life, and I was just an angry kid, I'm a happy kid, funny kid, but inside I was suffering. So I was just like, quit going to school. I was going to Astros games. I was like living Ferris Bueller's Day Off every day. I look at Ferris Bueller's Day Off like, that's it?
Just one day?
Ferris ain't shit.
Yeah. I was like, that's it, son? It's like, whatever. I'll go to Mexico. I'll be back tomorrow. It's just craziness.
But did you perform for your teachers or something? Like in class?
No, my teacher, in class. Yeah, my teacher was like, you're skipping, you're a smart kid, don't you want to be a comedian? I was like, you're damn right I want to be a comedian. And she's like, well, you're how would you feel if you don't graduate high school? I was like, oh my God. And then she said, how would your dad feel if you don't graduate high school? I was like,
oh, shit. Oh, really? You don't go there?
My dad, that's you cold-blooded, And she was right, though. She was completely right. And she made a deal with me. And she said, if you go up in front of the class and do a monologue, any Shakespeare monologue, right? I'll give you the same grade. I'll pass you. And then she goes, I'll let you do stand-up on a regular basis, in class. Oh, shit.
Wait, hold on. Every morning, like you get up 9 o'clock, the bell rings, and then there you are in front of the class, and right after roll call. Is that
not every morning? No, not every morning. So that she let me do like once a week. But and she made a deal with me, like if I go up in front of the class at that moment, she said I'll pass you, basically give you a better grade. and I would let you do stand up in class. It was just a way for her to get me to motivate me.
Yeah,
because she knew I wanted to be a comedian. So so that's what I did. I was like, oh my God, I'm kidding. I get to get a passing grade, and all I have to do is just go up there and do Shakespeare, and I get to do stand up. No deal. Big deal.
Did you have your own material though?
To me or not to me? Well, that
did you have Did you write your own material? Or was it all Shakespeare?
Yeah, I rushed that night.
Yep.
Man, you gonna make me come to Austin right now and just tear you up.
I'll see you on the 28th.
I wrote on a regular basis. Yeah, so I would. If you let me finish, buddy. All right. So I just did Shakespeare in front of the class, and then I would do I did stand up the next day. I was horrified, so I just went home and started writing stuff I want to talk about, and then I went the next day and did a very physical, more physical, funny stand-up performance in front of the class. Hard. I was like, oh man, I'm addicted. So that was it. And then I was just stand up for the rest of the year. My teacher took me down to my English teacher took me down to theater arts. She's like, this kid's been coming in like on a weekly basis, doing original stand up, different voices, accents. I'm like, I think this kid needs to be in theater arts. And my theater arts, who was not my theater arts teacher, but then became my theater arts teacher, Miss Kreisner, was like, yeah, sure, she brought me in, and next thing you know, I'm doing like lead roles. So it was crazy. It's crazy.
So
it changed my life.
What about like the first time you got on stage, like on the national stage, like, going from, performing in school?
Yeah, you start in the clubs.
Right.
Yeah. I was 17, at the Laugh Stop. That was the first time I was on stage during the Houston's Funniest Person competition.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, that was like my first stage, and I signed up for that competition the same day as the deadline, and they were like, great, you performed 2 days later. I was like, great. And then I was walking out. I was like, shit, all I have is like high school material. So I need to go right. So there I go again, like 2 days in a row, just at night, just coming up with a 5-minute set. And you don't know how long 5 minutes is. Like, you're just guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and wrote. So I went up and I did a really good job for me being, first time on stage at a comedy club. Ended up making like the wild card, and then people started meeting me, and then I found out basically the stand-up game. I was like, oh, come here, open mic, and at that point I wasn't even supposed to be in a comedy club. I was actually at the age of 17 at that time. So, but nobody asked because I looked like a 40-year-old mobster. I don't know why I dressed like a gangster. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know what phase I was going. I think it was just like that Goodfellas thing that got in my head. So I was just dressed like an Italian car dealer. I don't know. So so I would just do, got on that game, and it was over. It was over mics. It was that hustle, right?
Well, and
then people told me about the comedy showcase, and that's like where you grow. And I went to the comedy showcase, and Danny Martinez took me under his wings right out the gate. Right after he saw me, he was like, if you listen to me, I've basically taught a lot of comedians that have gone on to highly successful careers. Mm-hmm. If you listen to me, I think you're gonna be one of my best students.
So did you? What circuit were you like? This was still in Texas, or you were traveling at the time already? East Coast, West Coast?
No, it was all in Houston. Yeah, all in Houston. So and I started touring all over the South.
Oh, dope. Mm-hmm. So when did you start going, like, the Cellar, the Store, some of the Laugh Factory, some of those big clubs?
Yeah, the LA clubs. Yeah, LA clubs, I've always hit them up, So the first, I would say it took me like 5-6 years before I started going to LA, like really like, okay, now I'm getting ready, because you got to do your time. You have to travel. You have to get better. You have to do all those shitty gigs. You have to go. It's a must. You can't just be like, oh, I've got 6 weeks of open mic, ready for this LA shit, ready for New York. Like, that's not the way it works. There's a lot of time that go in. I mean, for me, the Cellar, I waited 17 years, 16 and a half years or so before I committed to like getting in, because when you get in, you better be great.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like it used to be. The Cellar was at a point where not only did I need to be passed or whatnot, but like it's a prestigious place. It's a stage where so many greats go on any given night, and then you could be following 3 greats in a row. Like it's happened to me so many times. So I wanted to get in, and I wanted to be a powerhouse right out of the gate. And LA was wonderful, but it wasn't just like for me, the vibe wasn't for me. And New York is the spot, for me. New York is like the mecca of stand-up to me. New York it really is true. It sounds corny as shit, but if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
That is true.
Really true.
That is true.
If you're loved there, then you do well.
Did you have like a comedian? They're like, oh my God, this is who I'm inspiring to be. Maybe not Cosby at the time, but like, did you have somebody? You're like, I want to be that guy. I want to be bigger than that guy.
I never thought about it as like I want to be bigger as that guy or as big as that guy or that. But I always think like, the level of maturity I can get my stand-up to be at. I want to be as clever, or I want to be. I desire to have a career like X. I don't know. It's kind of a scary thing to get into. I'm more like I am my own person. I admire other people's work. And I mean, like Louis C.K. was one of those guys that was coming up. You'd watch, you're like, damn, he's so damn good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like I watched him in '99 when I was first starting out, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy is a beast. Like he's so funny. And Doug Stanhope too. I was like, my God. And then Dave Chappelle. You're like, oh shit, it gets even more genius. And then Chappelle, and then it's like so many really outstanding comedians that were, that I got to watch firsthand, and I just, aspired to be as great as I can be. And I have career goals for myself and milestones, and it's here we are, 19 years later to film my special, and I'm, they say 20 years for overnight success, so I'm really excited.
Oh man, congrats. So, you traveled the world, doing comedy. You did USO tours. How would you compare the American crowd and the international crowd?
Yeah, I want to identify it first of all. Like I did some MWR and USO shows, right, for U.S. troops. I mean, like over 100 military bases worldwide. But then I had like a really successful, and still do, career doing theaters, like for locals in those places. So when you're doing U.S. shows, U.S. military shows, you're obviously performing for like 99% U.S. audience, right? And then there's like local workers, right? Very few. But when I had the overseas tip like kick off, I did like the Royal Albert Hall in London twice. I did the Apollo in London twice, Nelson Mandela Theater in South Africa, to Australia, to it was a crazy run, right? That's also why I did later. I was like, yo, I'm doing well. Like, let me just enjoy the stand-up, touring, and yada yada. And then I was like, man, but my home, I gotta focus on America. Like, this is getting, I really need to pop off there. And so, what was the question again?
International crowd and American crowd.
Man, it's the same, bro. Like, the fact that stand-up comedy is, like, really proliferating all over the world now with the rise of stand-up. Because stand-up is an original American art form. There's only 3. It's stand-up, hip-hop, and jazz. Right. That's it. So jazz and hip-hop have already had their, and still do, continue to have their time. Comedy's now really, really popping off. So it's really just a great blessing, because you don't really have to shift your material very much at all, really. Most of them know the references, unless you have something super unique. But everything I do is not everything, but a lot of us come from personal experiences and truth. So that kind of stuff you don't have to worry about changing.
So I was saying earlier before we get on the phone that comedians are like today's philosopher. They're the Socrates and the Aristotles. They give you a perspective on things and on life that you might not get on your own, and it's refreshing, and it's like got to be funny, of course. And so in your stand up, you talk about immigration. You basically like, look, this is what it's like to be in my shoes. This is what I'm bringing to the table. I'm giving you my perspective on life. So what people tell you when you get off stage, what kind of reaction do you get?
It's tell me to go fuck myself sometime. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I think stand-up comedians have always been that. I think stand-ups are really, definitely the greats. I would say that they are really introspective, and they really just are we're really hard on ourselves, and we can't stop thinking, and it's all we do. And we do offer up a perspective, sure. That's always been the case. I don't think it's a new thing. And stand-up has always been an art form, again, in its original form, to not only make you laugh, but also make you think. Mm-hmm. The greatest comedians have been the ones that make you laugh and also force you to reflect on what that joke is and how they came up with it. So that's always been really, really important. And I'm a purist, I really love it. And I started out as like, Muhammad of the South. I am trying to make it, and you have to, like 99% of the time, I was their first experience of that, right? I don't know how many Arab comedians are going to West Midlands performing, to Midland, Odessa, to Abilene, to Wichita Falls, to Redmond, Oklahoma, to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to Altus, Oklahoma. Like, nobody knows where Altus is.
No,
like,
never.
So it's really, it's like I was offering something that, a new relationship that most people have never had before. So it was really, really unique and an experience that I would never, ever want to be any different, aside from the time where I got my room searched in Houma, Louisiana, when they thought
Wait, what?
I was a terrorist. But that's a whole other story.
Oh, man.
Comedian at the Lania Music Cafe.
We have all
yeah,
night.
I was on stage. My room was getting searched, and I was on stage doing stand-up. Like, I'm so great. I just sold out all my merchandise. I just smoked weed with some beautiful women. I'm having a great time. And then I look over, and there's like surrounded by cops. I'm like, what's going on? and I'm outside. There's like 6 squad cars all of a sudden. I was like, oh my God, there's like a dozen cops, detectives. Like, we have identity theft. I was like, oh, somebody stole my identity. I'm so stupid. I was the prime suspect. And they searched my room, and they did all kinds of garbage. And there was like people from the crowd outside, leave him alone, he was funny. Like, it was just wildly embarrassing, especially when you're innocent. So yeah, but definitely comedians are modern day philosophers, and I think that's always been the case. From Lenny Bruce to George Carlin to Richard Pryor to Red Fox. I mean, they all offered a philosophy. They all offered a perspective and a point of view, and the greats certainly do that.
So I got a question from an audience member. I was filling out a question online, and it was asking if you made a joke that had a bad reaction. Because, you talk about, things that could be sensitive, to people. And how did you react to it? Like, what did you brush it off? Did it bother you?
No, you mean like bombing on stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's just part of the game. You just brush it off and you move on. That's it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, look, if you haven't eaten a shit sandwich on stage, you haven't done enough sets. You just haven't done enough. That's the
in 19 line. Years.
Shit. Yeah. Look, thankfully I didn't have much of a problem. Like, they were rare, but when they happen, they're like,
I'll eat that shit up.
Rough. Oof. You just got to go on. The biggest thing, the best thing you can do for yourself is just go on stage immediately. Like, again, after you eat shit, you just gotta, after that crumb sandwich, you just gotta go right away and do another set. That's what I would do. If I had a bad festival, I was like, oh, let me just flip this, flip that, flip this, change that. Let me go do this. And I would show up, and I don't care if there's like 3 people in the audience or 300, whatever. Just get on stage again. So you just get out of that immediately. I mean, man, I've been in this game so long that I think I've had some of the worst and best experiences, right? It just comes in stand-up. I get heckled by mentally handicapped dudes for an hour.
Oh, my God.
Like, during a headliner set. I had nothing. I just had to stand up there and let him have his moment. And it was the worst. It was like the worst. He would boo me, and then he would laugh at himself booing me. You know what I mean? Like, there is nothing you could do. I'm on a college campus. Like, these kids are sensitive as shit.
Yeah.
I flew in and all that. And the kids like, boo.
This is where we're living now. People are sensitive.
For like 50 minutes, nobody stopped him. Nobody talked to him. Like, who is this guy? And then the whole time I started laughing at myself. Like, I'm on stage seeing this whole thing unfold. And I remember telling all the students, I was like, I don't think you guys are appreciating how genius this kid is, because this is probably his biggest enjoyment, right? I didn't say this out loud.
He's made his day.
What if he knew what he was doing before he got here? And I think he did. And he knew that he was going to put me in the worst situation ever. And it was going to be like his favorite thing, his favorite story for the rest of his life. Like, that's what's I know he went home and he's like, Mom, you know what I did today? Like, it was just, I made a comedian, gave him a memory for the rest of his life. Reminded a comedian of his own mortality for 50 minutes in front of 500 people. So, yeah, that was like one of the worst shit sandwiches I ever ate.
He started a diary that day.
Today. For the feather pen.
So I want to get
that kid shows up.
I want to get to Chappelle. Do you meet Chappelle or Chappelle meets you?
It was actually funny you say that. It was, we had a show called Allah Made Me Funny. We toured all over the world doing it. And Dave's family came out to our tour stop in Columbus, Ohio. And his mom, when I say his whole family, his mom came out, his sister, his brother, and his niece. And then he came out and did an hour after our show because he was a fan of ours, because his family became a fan of ours. It was a home situation. So he comes out to meet us and to meet him, So it was the first opportunity for him to meet all three of us, because he's met two of my partners. He hasn't met me yet. So we all just get together. We all have dinner after the show. He comes on stage, does an hour, squeaky clean, murders the whole place. It's unbelievable. We all go out together. We all have a great meal and get to know each other. And that's how the relationship started. That was in 2007.
Oh, yeah. That long ago. Man.
Yeah. And I saw Chappelle in '99, when I first started out at the Laugh Stop. And actually last night when I was with him in Philly, he was like, "You saw me there?" And he hit me in the back and was like, "Who the hell knew we've been touring together 19 years later?" Like, it's amazing. Yeah, so I started touring with Dave the first time I actually did a show on that he was doing, like around 2012. Yeah, 2012, 2013. We started touring together.
What's the craziest thing you see Chappelle do, or just at a show, just because you're with Chappelle?
Craziest thing I've seen him do?
Yeah, or just like a good story from just like hanging out with him. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like
so
to be
many,
around.
Bro.
I bet.
Yeah, I don't even know. I just find it funny that when I'm hanging out with him, like in LA or something. We happen to be in the city at the same time. I just find it funny he doesn't tell me where I'm going. like where we're going. And we always end up at like the dopest shit ever. Like I have no idea. Like I remember going to GGIB's birthday party, and I didn't know I was going to her birthday party. And we just stopped. I thought we were just going to some bar where celebrities hang out, and it was like surrounded by like 40 paparazzi in front of this place, and I was like, oh, these guys are such horse. And then the next day, I didn't even know I was going to GJP's birthday party. I thought I was just going to hang out with Dave. And then the next day, it's like, TMZ was there, oh my God, all this. And I was like, yeah, I did see Bono. Was that really Bono? It was like, I had no idea. It's like he just hangs out. His friends are like crazy, you know? So, yeah, I mean, like the shows, the secret shows that he does where he does the band, the juke joints.
Yeah.
My God, I remember, you know, he does the show and you know, he leads it. He actually is the lead with it with the band, with Stevie Wonder's band. It's amazing. And all these surprise guests come in and all of a sudden I hear to my right, it's like, you got a light? I look over and it's Nas. And there you go. I'm just watching Nas's joint. And then he goes up and performs and doing it. And then all of a sudden they're like, excuse me, because I'm right there in front of the stage with Dave. And then the guy goes, excuse me, and I look over to the right, and it's Stevie Wonder just like walking in, like, oh, what's up, Stevie? Oh my God, can I please have a hug? You know, it's just, I don't know, it's just a different experience. And as far as like crazy, like honestly, talents and abilities on stage he's just one of one. He really is just one of one. The guy can just do 6 hours.
And he's like that on and off stage.
I mean, like on stage, he's an incredibly intelligent human being, but I'm saying on stage, it's just like, golly, he just doesn't have he has this motor. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. That to me is the most impressive thing about him. The ability, that endurance on stage is just he's one of one.
No, he is. He really is. He really is.
It's incredible.
Do you have a question?
Oh no! What I'm curious about, you've got 3 weeks now until your special, and you're running around with Dave opening, but still working in. It sounds like tons of other shows. So, like, where are you in the? Well, how long is the special going to be? How long is the show? You've got to put it together, right? You've got 19 years of material. Like, how are you putting this thing together now? This is a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. So I'm just working my ass off.
Yeah,
so
sounds like it.
I have, it's my introductory piece, right? So this is my like coming out party. So I want everybody to know how I got here, to answer all those questions, to what I had to deal with, and where I am today. And I have another hour that's just like, all completely different. So I think it's really important to frame everything in the first special to let everybody know who I am, where I come from, what my stories are. And they're super funny, they're poignant, they're timely, all that. And that's what I've been structuring it. That's what I've been I'm not even worrying about. I'm just focusing on that. And now at this point, it's just like, adding seasoning and tasting, right? Yeah. Not adding too much, tasting before adding. So this is all that's really happening. It's, it's exactly about 52 minutes at this point. It was at like 58, and I decided to do 52, and then I'm going to add some stuff for the openings. And, yeah, but it's ready. It's very ready. Even Dave told me yesterday, it was like, man, don't overdo it. Don't go too much. I don't want you to get burned out. It's like, no, I'm not burned out. So I'm just working on other stuff. So I have a whole nother hour that I have. So I'm going to run that tonight. Does that even have to do with the special itself? And then I have 2 other sets after that are about 20 minutes long each. And those I'll work out some of the stuff I'll do for the special. Or else I'm just going to get really bored,
Oh, absolutely.
The same thing. I want it to be fresh. And, yeah. But everything is sharp. It's super sharp. I ran it in Philly with Dave yesterday. It was, I'm just excited, man. I'm ready.
Probably got a vault of like 3 specials already ready to go. You just got to, rearrange them. You got all the material.
Yeah. That's about right. I mean, I think I'm about like I think I have about 4 that I'm proud of. You know, that I can work on.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
But they require a lot of work, though. Trust me. They're great premises and they look great, but you know, the maturity in the game, it's like, you know how you can, you know, work these things out.
Right.
And there's just like all these hours and hours of footage that you accumulate. At least for myself, I have that from years past, and over the last 4 years, I've really been dedicated to filming most of my sets. And in some cases, I just freestyle for that entire, you know, you're in a club all week, you're just sick of doing the jokes or whatever, and then you just, you know what, let's just see what you guys want to talk about. And you end up doing an hour and a half of freestyling, and that's how I write. Then you come up with all these different bits, and then you watch it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I said that. Oh shit, that is funny. And then you take that, and that's how I write. That's how really my style is that I take the concept on stage, I work it out, I freestyle with the audience, and then I forget usually what I did, and then I watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure it all goes away in the adrenaline.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Exactly. You just forget. Yeah. You're just like, oh yeah, what did I say? And then one of those things. So I started filming most of them, and at the very least audio recording. And then I write out the premises there, and I tease them out from there, and I add to them, and that's how they become part of the journal. And at some point, I'm like, oh yeah, that's funny. I'm gonna go revisit that, and I'll do that one night.
That's amazing. So the special happens, and then you're just right back in it. You're not starting from scratch. You're gonna have so much to just keep going. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll put out the special, and then I'm gonna hibernate for like 2-3 months and work post production, and like going out and trying new material and trying all the old stuff that I have that's new that I have to me and everyone else. And then just like see what I like, see what I hate, and start building it up again, piecing it together, and finding the right flow. And I'm hoping by like at least late fall to have the hour where I want it to be, and then start really putting it to work on the road in 2019.
That's great.
Wow.
So is the schedule set now for the Netflix special? Like you'll tape it obviously, and then there'll be editing. Are you involved in the editing, or do you pass that off to somebody else to put it together?
Oh, extremely involved. Yeah.
Just every bit. Yeah.
No, yeah. I have to basically, after Austin, because I have I have a really tight deadline, so I have to go immediately to LA and start the editing process. Like I'm gonna enjoy the weekend after we film at the Paramount.
Yeah.
Right.
On June 28th, and then after that, it's over. Like I'll be in the editing room for July probably. Like,
wow. So you've got a deadline from them.
Wow.
Like to deliver a product.
Yeah, it's a self-imposed deadline because if I wanted it released in October, it's definitely like it's something I put on myself. I mean, and it's also a Netflix thing where you have to turn in the product by X time for you to get X release, because there's all this stuff that goes with Netflix, because it's a global release. So you have all these subtitles, there's all the stuff that they have to prepare.
Oh yeah, that's right. All the different languages.
Yeah, and they do it
different
so
languages,
often.
promo materials. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. Nobody puts it out there like that. So for you to take advantage of that, especially for me, I'm a global guy, and it's important. So yeah, you got to turn it in by a certain time, or else you don't get your release date. And then next thing you know, you're in that line, and you don't. Yeah, I'm not going to get released till 2019,
right?
Wow.
Which is too long for me. I want to get in that new hour as soon as possible. So I think there's no point in just waiting.
So what's the name of the special?
I don't know.
You didn't give it a name?
See what happens.
It's called See What Happens.
No, yeah. It's called See What Happens. No, Dave told me. Dave gave me some great advice. He said, "See the baby before you name the baby."
Yeah.
That's great advice. That is good.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Perfect.
In Africa, we do that. We don't give the baby a name to a baby for 2 weeks because you never know.
Yeah.
So you just don't name them. That's true.
Really?
Yeah, you don't. Just had a 4-month-old, and we didn't give it a name until like a week later. Anyway,
wow.
what? So
They were like, let me see if his asshole is
Yeah.
maybe he's an asshole or not.
yeah, it pretty much. It's like shit can happen.
Whether he deserves this prophetic name or not. Let me see
Well,
this name.
not just that. If you name it after somebody and then shit happens, you're like, oh fuck.
That's funny.
Oh my God. Love
Let's
it.
just wait till the kid's 18. Let's see how he does.
Let's call him It for 18 years, or you guy. So you taping
Call
it.
him earn it.
You're taping it in Texas. Dear to your heart. Did you come to Austin a lot when you were in Houston?
Yeah, man, who doesn't?
Everybody comes here now.
Like, who doesn't? Yeah, who doesn't do that? Who goes from Austin to Houston to party? Like, it does happen now.
Everyone.
Like, when I was coming up.
I don't go. I've never
When I
been.
was coming up,
Nope.
yeah, everybody goes from Houston to Austin. I mean, that was the spot. And all my friends I grew up with,
Uh-huh.
they're like my brothers, you know, to this day. They all went to UT, and they're all doing very well for themselves. And I was like, oh, we're comedians. So I used to go book shows in Austin all the time. So I could just hang out on 6th Street, man. I was freaking 18, 19, 20. Like, of course I'm going to go have fun in Austin. I didn't like the time. So, yeah, one of my first headliner gigs was at the Velveeta Room.
Oh, nice.
Early, yeah, like 17 to 16 years ago. I don't know how long ago it's been. But yeah, hell yeah. Austin has lots of memories with me. And, of course, doing those shows with Chappelle the last 2 years kind of cemented everything for me. So it's just like I love it's a great city, great comedy town.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to film in Houston. I was trying to find a venue in Houston. We were going back and forth, and it just worked out that Austin was going to get it.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Come back back anytime, man. Shit.
No, that's exciting for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, this is great. One last thing before we leave. I know you're probably not a big fan of Trump. Some people are. I don't get it. Whatever. But do you feel like with the climate today, that having someone like him in the White House, helps with comedy? Like, people thought Bush was like the thing for 8 years. You could really like go at him, and then Obama was like, all right, we're gonna chill out a little bit because there's not much you can really make fun of. And then
Obama
here comes
didn't
Trump.
chill out. Yeah, Obama was like, let me show y'all how to be a politician.
Yeah. And then we go
That's
total
what
opposite.
Obama was like, look at these words, and then just fucking behind the scenes, just throwing drones everywhere, So it's like, it's a game. It's gross to be the president. Like, it's a really gross job. It's really a filthy, rotten job. And either you know how to articulate yourself, bring people together while you're handling this garbage, and nobody did it better than Obama.
Yeah.
And Trump, to me, when he was elected, like before he was elected, I was telling white people in New York like he was going to win.
Right before
and they were booing me, and I was like, whatever, you're wrong. He's going to win.
Yeah.
And I knew he was going to win when I was sitting in L.A. in Echo Park, and I overhear this white family struggle talking to each other. And these two parents, very liberal parents, go to their daughter, sweetie, we can't have the Clintons in there again.
Yeah.
We just can't. And I look back, and I was like, this is L.A. So like, what? Are you for real? I was like, oh my God, this guy is going to win. This is before, he even won the Republican nomination. It was the year before that. So it was insane for me to hear that. I knew he was going to win, and I also knew that when he wins, it's going to make me rich.
And you know what? He would make a great stand-up comedian. I think Trump is a comedian.
He's a comedian. My mom, I can remember calling my mom one time, and she was like, there's a funny comedian, funnier than you'll ever be comedian. I was like, shit, my mom's watching comedy. I was like, who's the comedian? I was, real jealous now because I want to be my mom's favorite.
Yeah.
And she's like, Trump. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, right.
He is.
You're right.
I mean,
he's ridiculous, man. I sat next to his son, and I just know he's just played the game, and he was on his way to making a book or whatever the hell he was going to do, and he got elected. He was like, shit, now I got to do this job.
I got to work. I got to fuck. And he had it good. He had it good before the running. He's like, I can get on TV and talk shit and do whatever I want and call Obama a non-American and a Muslim. Nobody gives a shit. And now it's like, now I got to work. Now when I say things, it means something. But I don't think he gives a shit in the first place. It's just something else on his resume at this point. Yeah. But he's funny.
Yeah, he wanted to win, man. He was like this. I looked at his son, looked at Eric, and I was like, look, I know how your dad got elected. He manipulated the media. He knew that the words that he was using would dominate, and people would talk about him mostly, and that's how he got elected. And he goes, yeah. It's just like, he didn't even stutter. I was like, he didn't even like.
No, he understood.
Want to oppose
he knows.
It's
like, yeah, we're in now.
Yeah.
Well, he answered like this. He was like, yes, my dad is very funny. That's exactly how he did. That's how Eric talks. No, it was actually, I really did feel like that. I was like, well, I'm just going to be wildly successful. That's what's going to happen. This is the year I'm going to break through. It was so funny. And it looks like that's okay.
It works. People thought Bush was it.
I did it as a joke, but it was freaking true.
You're a big, hanging out with Chappelle, are you a hip hop head? Like,
of course.
Yeah, gotta be. So, off the top of your head, like, I want to do a top 5 real quick. Hip hop, on the ground, mainstream.
Top five. Oh, it's tough, man.
I know.
Well,
who you feeling
Pac
these
and
days?
Biggie. Pac and Biggie, Black Thought to be on the top 5.
Yes.
Meth Man, Wu-Tang Clan. God, man, I'm already done.
Say Wu-Tang Clan. That's 9 of them.
Jay-Z's on it. It's like I'm such a fan. It was underground hip hop, indie hip hop. Brother Ali is amazing.
Good one.
Rhapsody, amazing.
I love Rhapsody.
Yeah, it's so much. Southern hip hop, Houston, Trillionaires.
Were you a UGK fan?
Trey the Truth.
There you go.
UGK. Come on, man. There's so many. 4G. My God, I don't know what to do.
No, I'm glad.
So much. Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap things up, man. Thank you. Oh, wait, hold on. Before we go.
Oh, yeah.
Before we go.
I do.
So,
beyond
the Netflix joint, what's next? Is it, theater, movie, TV, development? What's in the books right now?
Well, I am casting a show on Hulu called tentatively titled Rami. We're going to be filming this fall. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go immediately into start working on my second special. Getting into movies as well from the movie last year. And I'm doing more of that. I'm just going to be doing more film and television, but really, stand-up is my baby, and that's where it's at for me. And the main focus is getting another hour out.
No, man.
And I'll probably do a special in Arabic, too.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Hell
that's what I'm planning on doing.
Welcome.
So I have an English and an Arab special deal. That's the next thing.
Wow. That's dope, man. That is fucking dope.
And then I'm gonna go to Mexico, take over Mexico. Then I'm gonna take over.
Go to France, learn French.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good on all that. I'm just gonna stick to that. I'm just gonna do a quick hour to get that out of my system in Arabic, and then do another English, of course.
Well, congratulations on all the success, man.
Thank you, brother.
Years in the making. You deserve it. We're really happy for you. We're happy to welcome you in Austin again. And again and again and again and again.
I appreciate it.
We're big fans, and all the best to you. Where can people find you on the internets?
Just look up Arab guy. No, just,
no, you put the FBI file. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, just moamer.com. I mean, everything is under that name, so it'd be easy to find me.
There you go. There you go. So
moamer.com. Just go to my website. The ticket information's on my website. Whatever, social media. Find everything there.
It's all there.
Dope, man. So June 28th.
Thank you so much.
The Paramount 2 shows, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
2 shows.
2 shows.
30, 9:45.
All right, get your tickets, folks. Mo Amer is gonna take over, so be ready. It's on now, and he picked Austin to tape his special. So we're proud to have you. Happy to have you. Thank you so much, and good luck tonight. Your 3 sets,
Thank you, brother.
and we'll see you on the 28th,
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Have a good one, brother.
Thank you.
See ya. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We got some time more.
Yep.
That was dope, man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm
Love it.
pumped.
I can't wait for the show.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the
Well, you're
second
gonna stay
hour.
for this one, no, not because he's gonna look for you. Like, all right, I was talking to Scott Butler. You
Where's
better
that
be
guy?
here.
Yeah.
Better be in the room somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
No,
Yeah.
that's exciting. I'm really happy. I didn't know he started that young. That's nuts. Because you
I
hear a lot of
didn't,
people
yeah.
starting in the 20s, like in the 80s.
I knew he started young, but I knew about the school thing, but like I didn't know like how many years he's known Chappelle and how many and how soon he came out to Austin or something to hit up all the clubs in LA and all the travel and stuff earlier on. But
Man, who
that's
knows?
amazing.
Maybe
He's
the
been
next one.
working.
He was on the grind. He just hit it hard. Loved it.
Like I was talking to is it Preacher Lawson at Moontower, and I'd never heard of him until this year,
That's
and
another
I
guy,
saw
just
him.
hustle.
Yes, and I'm like, how long you been doing this? He goes, 10 years,
Dang.
and I'm like, 10 years, it's for real. So if I
Crazy.
start today,
Then you'll make it in
But
about 15.
he's 10 years, but he was a fast one. I mean, he was a guy in Portland, with this whole group of guys, and then he disappeared, I guess, and went to L.A. And then by the time the rest of the Portland guys show up, it's like, whoa, wait a second.
yeah.
He's amazing now.
No,
Mm-hmm.
but
And-
here's a guy who started when he was 9 years old. No, 14.
Well, yeah. I mean, at 9, he
At 9 he
decided
moved
he
it.
wanted to.
Yeah,
do it.
there you go. Yeah,
yeah.
And wow, man, it is a grind. It is a hustle. I mean, I applaud people who have that much dedication. I wish I did.
Or when people know when they want to do something that young, it
Yeah.
helps because then they just hit it hard,
Yeah.
and they just keep going.
For a creative to know which outlet they want to take their talents is rare, I think, and really fortunate for those that do it.
I mean, I've had a chance to talk to a lot of DJs and artists, and they all had that moment. They were young. Like, I went to a show, I saw a DJ, and I said, I want to do that.
Right,
And then they
it's
went
the
home
ones that
and
have
like-
no other options.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they didn't consider a plan B, and they went.
Nope.
I mean, my brother's like that. He's a musician, and he was a musician from the very beginning, and there was no alternative, and that's just how it was going to be. And he's amazing, and I mean, it's that focus, and I look
You
at
don't
that,
have
and
it?
I'm jealous. I mean, I'm a creative person, but I'm scattered. Like, I like to paint,
Same
I like
here.
to draw, I like music, and I have not had that same focus. So I'm jealous of people that know exactly what they want and go get it.
Man.
Right.
It's amazing.
I'm the same way, scattered.
All right, I'm starting tomorrow.
Start
with
right
what?
now. Since you're such a comedy nerd, put that to use.
I'll appreciate it from afar.
I'll see you in the back of the room.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Scott is way over there in the back from behind the scenes. And then 10 years from now, if you're still around, maybe I'll make it to Moontower.
It's never too late to start, though.
that's true.
I mean, one of my I'm just gonna say if we have time, but
No, we got time.
one of my
Got 5
favorite
minutes.
actors is David Duchovny, and he wrote he's written 3 books. Of course, his career with the X-Files and then movies and stuff like that. But now he has a band. Like, he just likes to do so many different things. I don't really listen to his band that much, but I have one of his books, and I can't. He's brilliant. He's just amazing.
But he's David Duchovny, though. It's like,
I
you don't have to
mean-
worry about much.
True. So now he gets to do all those things because he has that money. He has that solid foundation, and he can just do whatever the hell
if
he
anything,
wants.
it makes it more impressive because he doesn't need to sit there and focus on writing a book. He's got
That's true.
full life.
I'll see that. I can see
And
that.
So to put in the time and dedicate yourself to writing a book. I cannot imagine what that
Yeah.
process is like.
Nah.
It's on constantly on the grind. I mean, and I'm like a weird fangirl. So, I look at his Instagram and he'll be like, "Oh, I have a show tonight, and then I'm writing my book tomorrow, and and then X-Files, and then whatever he's doing next." It's like feels like it looks like it's happening one after the other,
I mean,
almost.
just like when you get to a point in your life when you're doing what you want to do and not what you have to do. I mean, I take Joe Rogan for example. Joe Rogan does everything he wants to do. It's like I do my podcast. I talk for a living.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I do.
That's nothing better.
I do commentary on the UFC, and then I talk on this podcast, and then I go out and do comedy, and then I go shoot arrows. I go hunt, and that's it. And the thing is, life happens quickly, and if you don't all right, you can't keep saying tomorrow. And I think that's what I've done, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap things up. Thank you so much. Shout out to Mo Amer. Make sure you go get your tickets. June 28th is the show at the Paramount. Go to Austin Theater. TER.org. TER, right?
Yep.
No, TRE?
TRE.
Yeah, TRE Theater.
I think a lot of people make the mistake. Yeah,
Yes.
the theater. Yeah.
You'll find. Just Google it.
Yeah,
You'll
go
find.
to Paramount.
We'll be at the top.
Yeah.
And can we talk about prices, or is that bad? Like
No, go for it.
prices?
It's
Yeah, it's
very
only
affordable.
it's only $15.
Oh, for real?
And I
Yeah.
think they had. I think it ended on June 1st. Don't quote me on this, but they had a coupon from Netflix where you can deduct $5 off of that.
There you go.
So,
As
but
far as
it's-
I know, that's still live. So
Oh,
just
okay.
do it. And
Sweet.
$10 or $15 either way.
That's nothing.
so cheap to be part of a
You could
Netflix
be
special.
right
it's
there,
gonna be amazing.
and you could be famous. Someone can see you when the Netflix special airs. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I need you in my next show.
Yeah, let's pack the house. I mean, $15. Shit.
Yeah. Oh,
let's
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna be a
June
blast.
So June 28th, guys, go get your tickets. Mo Amer is funny as hell. And Scott, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. It's a blast.
Hell yeah. Were you worried?
No.
You were pretty calm. You
Yeah,
handled
like,
that very well.
I got this, man. I can put a microphone on my face. I'm fine.
And thank you guys for doing this.
No,
I'm glad
thank you,
I
Lauren.
gave y'all a
Appreciate it.
shout out, and I'm like, I need the feedback. So,
anybody else want to throw at me? Let me-
yeah, I think I've been emailing you. Like, no, I've been sending you stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
please. I mean, I'll do.
Yeah,
I'll do
I'll
this.
keep sending you stuff. I have promotions for musicians, and so.
Can you plug your company? That's what I'm asking you.
Oh, you're like, oh, okay.
I think
all
that's
of
what you
the-
do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can shut the mic off right now, and
Oh,
nobody knows who Lauren is.
No, please, no. I need the love. No. Thank you, by the way. Yeah, Otherside Austin is my website, my promotions business. It's othersideaustin.com. You can find me on social media at Otherside Austin on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
And what do you do?
What do? I do promotion. Actually, it's gonna be like this big concept eventually in a production company. But for now, it's promotions in music, art, and education. And I kind of I wanted to take a little turn there. I kind of want to have in the future my own kind of like TED Talks, but my own just my own platform for education as well. So, but music, art, and then now comedy. So I may have to change that to music, art, comedy, And so, yeah, you can hit me up and ask me about my rates. I'm not used to doing this.
You got to.
I mean, I'm used to mouth to, word of mouth. I was gonna say mouth to mouth.
You're doing great.
I love that. Wow.
No worries.
I'm so glad I made that joke right now. Okay.
On that note, folks. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow the FeedBak BAK on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Any announcements? I usually tape the show at the Native Hostel first Sunday of the month. I don't even know who the next guest is going to be, but it's going to be dope. The one we just had was with Dr. Art Markman and Dr. Bob Duke from Two Guys on Your Head.
Oh, right.
The psychology podcast on NPR. We talked about the psychology of nightlife and going out and sleep and FOMO and sexual tension and rituals and social creatures, all kinds of stuff. It was so enlightening. I loved it. I had a blast. So go to the feedback.com/148 and you can check out the episode or just subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever. We out there. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure you get your tickets. Go see Mo. And we'll talk to you next time. Ciao, ciao.